you got into, you got the top 8, and then
Hmm.
I'm not sure if this was, I think it was very recently after that, um,
Hmm.
you and Gootecks created the show Cross Counter. And this
Yeah.
was a show that was loved by everybody. I mean, everybody in the fighting game community watched that show. And I think it was also because something like that hadn't been done yet. It almost felt like a
Yeah.
reality show, like the weekly episode that was going to come out.
Yeah.
And it hooked a lot of people. And you developed such a huge fan base. You and Ryan developed such a
Hmm.
huge fan base for the show, for your personalities, the memes that came out of it, the culture around Cross Counter. And, I was happy to be on that with my boy Brent.
That's right.
And
Trinity.
yeah, the Trinity was on there, man,
Hmm.
in 2016. So
Hmm.
I'm kind of curious about the vision for Cross Counter, how that birthed between you and Gutex,
Yeah.
and what was the goal for it? Like, what did you want for that? Because I know that's your baby, dude. That was something special to you
Yes.
guys.
Yeah. So I mean, at the up until that point, for the most part, all you had was tournaments. That was it.
And
How do
SRK
you access?
forums.
Yeah. How do you access the fighting game community? Yeah. Right. Arcade forums and tournaments.
Yeah,
Some people will say, IRC. I mean, there's either a communication platform or you have to go to a tournament, or obviously, like an arcade meetup or
right,
something.
right.
That was the only stuff that existed. And so, both Ryan and I, we had brainstormed forever, and we thought about all this stuff, and we said, we need to create something where a we're giving a voice, a personality of some sort. Not a personality. We didn't even use those words then. I mean, the term content creator didn't even exist then when
Right,
we were doing that, right?
right,
You weren't. There was no such thing. We weren't content creators.
right. You guys were just
Um,
Mike Ross and Gutex.
yeah, just do it. Yeah, just putting
Just
stuff out,
rip.
and like I mean, we had so many ideas. I don't want to sit here and ride myself for the
No, no,
about all the
dude, this
stuff
is
we
this is the
created
show
first
for
and did
that.
stuff.
No, this is the show for
um,
that. So I want you to like,
yeah,
dude, everybody's probably dying to know you have
yeah,
years of
yeah,
fans that this is like the type of shit that people want to listen to when they're a fan of
yeah,
somebody or of something. So like
yeah.
go ahead, let that shit out.
Mm. I mean, like we were, we always joked and laughed about, we said, what the problem is, right? Is we did everything too early, and they're not ready for it yet.
Mm,
Eventually, it'll come around full circle, and people are gonna say, "Hey, check out this new idea we had," and we're like, "Hey, if you actually go back 12 years, you saw we already did that." But I mean, that's just what happens. Our goal was just to present the stuff in various ways, in ways that we thought were going to be very entertaining, that we'd like to watch, because
yeah,
that's the most important thing that people forget. No matter what you're doing, is you have to do it because it's something that you want to see or you want to listen to, right? If you go into it thinking what would they like, you're already in it for the wrong reason.
right.
That's impossible. It's impossible to know what they like because they are not you. What do you like?
Yeah,
And
and
if
it's all
you like it,
subjective.
yeah, right. If you like it, it's guaranteed, maybe. But let's just say it's possible one other person will. And if you got that, that's all you need. You
Right.
grow from that.
Yeah.
And for us being, involved already in the scene for what, like 8, 9 years before anybody saw that, we already have been talking and know what we think people might want to see, without asking directly. It's just like, because we know, like, we've already been involved with it for like almost 10 years.
Yeah.
So
You know
what
your
would we want to
community,
see to make?
you know your
Yeah.
audience.
Yep. Yep. And it's not even from people saying, "Oh, I wish," because nobody said, "Oh, I wish this happened." That never happened. The only time I ever heard that where it was like in sync was when I talked to Gutex, and him and I were both like, "You know what we need?" And he was like, and I was like, "What?" So he said, "Let's just do it."
Yeah.
So yeah. So the whole vision was it's just to show fighting games in a new light, and also to shine the spotlight not on ourselves but on others, because that's what the whole point was.
Yeah.
Going around, taking the camera, going to Canada with the camera, going to or NorCal and all that. I mean, NorCal had their own thing already, but we just wanted to show that and showcase everybody that we possibly could, to show that, look, any one of you could be, a fighting game player at a top level. Everybody, we're all cut from the same cloth, from a similar cloth, I'll say.
Right.
You know.
Right. And then the traveling aspect of it just made it feels so real as well, especially back
Mm-hmm.
then. There's just this the traveling era of
Mm-hmm.
like the 2000 of the Street Fighter 4 was just, oh my God, man. It's just, it's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
Because every time I talk about this, I feel like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, you know? Like, you just can't help but
Like on the
talk about
page.
that era. You can't help but
That's
talk
right.
about it, man. But, you know, especially
Mm-hmm.
when that's how we became acquainted. You know, that's we
Mm-hmm.
saw each other in those travels. We saw each other
That's
during
right.
those tournaments, and just crazy, man. And you know, Cross Counter did
Mm-hmm.
so good. I don't even know what the final numbers were when it came to how many subscribers you guys had on YouTube and the amount of views you guys were getting, but it was just, it
Yeah.
skyrocketed so much. And I feel like people like Smug also
Mm-hmm.
benefited off of a show like Cross Counter, and all the
Mm-hmm.
content creators now can, like, it's like a piece of Cross Counter is within their own content. You feel me? And that's an amazing thing that you did and
Yeah.
Ryan did for the
Mm-hmm.
community. It gave us so many different episodes. It's like, that was crazy, man. It was just a crazy era, and very interesting to hear about how it got birthed. You know, because you guys were
Mm-hmm.
known at the time, and you guys were loved people in the community at that
Mm-hmm.
time. So when the show came out, it was a banger. Soon as people started talking about it. So yeah, I was just
I
very curious
also
about how
think
that cross counter started. But go ahead.
I was gonna say too, because we were already doing episodes. Like we had done, I think, only one or two at most before Evo, before I got that top 8. We had like one episode out or two episodes out. By the way, all that content is gone because of a lot of our early cross counter videos were on Machinima,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
a YouTube platform, and Machinima pulled all their videos. So all of our first stuff is gone,
Oh
which
man.
sucks. There's no proof or no evidence of any of that stuff existing,
Oh man.
which which sucks. But I was gonna say at the time, like once we first did those videos, we were like, man, I don't know if anybody's gonna watch this. And then
Mm.
Evo happened, and then I got top 8 at Evo, and we were both just like, oh, thank goodness, it brings some credibility to our to our
Yeah,
channel. Like
yeah.
it's like we aren't that bad. We kind of know what we're talking about. We're kind of decent players.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that all
absolutely.
kind of helped.
And
Yeah.
I want to. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but it kind of
Mhm.
sparked an interest because this is something that I really like to dive into as well, in my own mind and in my own journey.
Mhm.
But you said something about, are people going to like this? And you also
Mhm.
mentioned earlier how, if you like it, there's bound to be
Mhm.
one other person that likes it as well. God willing, right? There's got to be at least
Mhm.
one. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Right. Yep.
But,
Mhm.
but, with that, you have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Putting out an episode where you're on camera and you're being this personality, you're putting yourself on the chopping blocks of being judged by a lot of people. A lot of people that
Mhm.
don't know you, a lot of people that think they know you, a lot of people that have said things about you, and you're
Mhm.
opening the floodgates for people to say such negative, hateful, obsessed things about you.
Yeah.
And of course, you're going to have your fans, but you're also going to have those types of people, the ones that I was just mentioning. How
Mhm.
did you handle the criticism? How did you handle the the haters, the people that
Yeah.
made you like think about what it is that you're doing? Because I'm sure you went through that just as much as I've gone through it in my Street Fighter career.
Yeah.
So that's something where I feel like it's really helpful for people out there that to hear your story on that, because it might help them battle those types of demons when they face it in their life.
Yeah. I mean, something that, you kind of hear said a lot is, once the negativity or the haters, sorry. Yeah, once they show up, that means you're doing something right. So that's something that I knew in the back of my head. Um, I can say, I'll let you know this. Like real time. There's so much more about actually that I got to kind of go back to
Yeah, go ahead.
with with kind of cross counter and how I'm missing one of the most important elements. A lot of people are like, oh, you and Ryan, you and Gootecks, like you guys did it. None of that would be possible. None of it would be possible without the man behind the camera, the producer of it all, Steve Wong, um, because he was, the actual like real talent there. He was the official third member that liked to stay out, in the background.
Yeah.
Um, but but I can say this too. When we were doing like Excellent Adventures, if you look back, our first videos didn't have a camera. And when Brian was like, "Yo, we should just get Steve to do this if he's down," I was hesitant because of what you just said. I was like, "Man, that means every week we're going to be putting our face out there. We're going to be,
Yeah.
doing all this. We're going to open up the doors for criticism and stuff." And I was hesitant for that because of like what we were talking about right now. But then I know that if I feel that way, there's a bunch of people that would feel that way. So you know what? Let's just do it. Let's do the uncomfortable and
Yes.
just get out there
Yes.
because, doing the uncomfortable stuff will always, you're either going to pay off or it's going to end miserably. But I couldn't see it ending unless, it's people just like, "Oh, I didn't know, I heard Mike Ross talk. He doesn't sound black." Something like, I don't know what they might say,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just open myself to all of that.
I was like a Mickey Mouse, like I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, so, yeah, I don't. That's how I assume that the negative people sound like. They all sound like
They have to be
the
cartoon
mouse.
characters. They have to be
Yeah,
some
they
sort
got
of.
the whole cartoon. Yeah,
I mean, they all
right.
have anime AVI, so it might actually be the character. I
Hey,
don't know.
man, and you also got to remember, it's like you're not putting thought into that negative energy, but why? I just don't get it. To actually, if you're young, it's excused. Like if you're a teenager, that's what teenagers do. They get online, they type and stuff because they don't think that the world is real. They don't think that they could actually get touched out there. They're still invincible.
Right.
So I think a lot of negativity comes from that. Either people that are really young or people that are sheltered and have never experienced anything. That's where I think a lot of negativity comes from. So you just can't let that get to you. Can't pay it any mind. Even
Yeah.
though I'm not gonna lie, no matter what, no matter who you are, anybody that says, "Oh, it doesn't affect me," that's a lie. That's absolutely a lie.
Yeah. I think
Right.
the
Mhm.
point where it starts not affecting you is when you learn how to deal with it better.
Yes,
You know how to deal with the
100%.
criticism better, and then you do start developing, because it typically starts off like this, or at least from my journey, it's you want to please everybody, you want to make everybody happy.
Mhm.
I'm not
Yep.
a bad person, bro. I mean, like, I make
Mhm.
mistakes in my life, but I'm not this person that is being portrayed, the image
Mhm.
that's being portrayed. And
That's
you
right.
feel bad, and you feel like, man, like this isn't who I am, and like why don't these people just understand? And then
Mhm.
you start growing up, and you start realizing that no matter what you do, if you do a good thing, they're going to talk badly about you. If you do a bad thing, they're going to talk badly about you. So you might as well
Yep.
do the thing that makes you happy, because no matter what, people are going to talk about you. And as you said, if you're not being talked about, then you're not doing something right. So
Mhm.
that journey has to happen in order to make you a stronger man.